Hi, my name is Tina. I am head of design of Victoria Designs, and our mission is to help you make awesome paper crafts. And you're here today because you want to make one of our junk journal project packs. Welcome! And in this video, I'm going to tell everything there is to know about the Steampunk Halloween Junk Journal project pack. This pack is filled with loads of printables with a steampunk theme, but in the same time also a very spooky theme. When you purchase this project pack, you will get 24 journal pages, 6 sheets with embellishments and 8 vertical papers. Further in this video, I will show you how to make this journal completely from scratch. You can discover this Steampunk Halloween Junk Journal project pack yourself in our shop. The link is below. And now I am going to show you how to make this journal. So to start, these are the cardboard panels that you will need. This is a bit different. This is going to be the back. These are going to be the 2 side pieces, and these are going to be the front. And you see one piece of the front is wider than the other one, but I thought I was cute, so that's why I did that. And this other piece of cardboard is a little bit narrower. You see, this is 1 inch wide, this is 7/8 of an inch wide, because this is where we are going to put our pages to. We are going to adhere our pages to this one, and we're going to attach it in there. So it's not technically a part of the normal cover. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to put these aside as well, because we're starting by covering these pieces. So the back, the 2 front pieces. And for that, go take a look in your junk journal project pack with the paper section. So there should be like a bunch of full-size papers. And for this one, I'm going to choose these 2. So you see, this one is larger than this one, but I printed this one smaller so that I could wrap this beautiful image on the back. So this is going to go on the back. If I would have printed it larger, the whole image would have been larger. And then maybe the whole head and these lovely intricate pieces on the side wouldn't even make it to this piece. So that's why I do that. I just made sure that it would at least cover this. I have to trim it later because it's too wide now, if you see. But at least the height is high enough to wrap now. So I will have to trim a bit of the sides. So make use of your printer. Make use of the fact that you can print smaller, just play with the print percentage or play with the size. And then this paper, I'm going to use parts of these to wrap these. And I think I'm going to want this lady again on the front. So I'm thinking I'm going to wrap like this piece, and perhaps this piece for the other front. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna have to see. There are a lot of really beautiful papers in here. First thing I'm gonna do is actually cut these out so that they have the right size to cover these 3 cover pieces. And what I normally do is my tape is 3/8 of an inch wide, so I'm gonna make sure there's at least 3/8 of an inch extra on all sides. So I'm going to cut these ones out. Okay, so I cut my pieces of paper to size, and for the other front I actually chose a piece of another paper, so it's going to be a bit like this. Okay, I'm gonna start with the back one, big one. Doesn't matter with which you start. And first thing always is, regular viewers just know how I do this, is put tape really neatly along all the edges of the cardboard, as close and neatly to this to the edge as possible for a really nice fit. just going to put a little bit of glue there, so that doesn't matter at all. And then remove the backing of this tape. Of course, you can use glue all over as well. Definitely. It's just, for me, this is a really neat and handy way to get a great result. Make sure your sticky tape is sticky. I mean, sometimes it's not sticky enough. Okay. And then I'm going to use a heavy duty glue stick for the center, just because it's so fast. And the other journals I made with this are still intact actually. So I think it really works. Then I'm going to position this as much as possible, straight as possible in that center here. Okay. And then, as usual, cut out the corners, leave like a millimeter, 1/16 of an inch gap between the cardboard and the paper, and also make sure your angle is not too much like this, but more like this. So almost straight. Just do that with all 4 corners. Okay. Then, of course, I printed this on 160 grams paper. It's just an even nicer finish if it's done on some heavier paper. And for that, I'm going to pre-fold these tabs already. It makes it a little bit easier afterwards. Then the next task is to put some glue or double-sided tape on all these tabs as close to the cardboard as possible. If you have some leftover paper here and here and here and here, you can cut it off, but honestly, I don't even bother. I'm just going to leave it there. As long as like not a whole inch hanging out there. Sure. Okay, make sure this has a good bond. Then remove it. Oh yeah, by the way, I started with this one, but it's okay. I'm going to start with the smaller sides first. That's the beauty of double-sided tape. It's gonna remain sticky for a long time, even if I'm doing something else right now. So I'm gonna do the short sides first and then the long sides. You can do it the other way around. I used to do it this one, this one, this one, this one, but it just doesn't look that good, you know? It's all in the details. Okay. These are the short ones, and then this is already sticky. The long one, and the other one as well. Because I've pre-folded these, this is a lot easier to do. So, and this is going to be the back of my little book. Of course, a little bit is going to be covered by tape, but it's still going to be like super beautiful. Okay, and do the exact same thing with the other cover pieces and the papers. I wrapped all the 3 pieces, so this is going to be the back and these 2 are going to be the front of this journal. And now it is time to attach the spines, so the side pieces that are 1 inch wide. I'm going to simply attach them with paper tape. If you're using tape, make sure something can stick on top, because this is going to be the inner spine and it's going to be sticked in here. And I'm going to wrap this as well with tape the inside. Okay, let me start with these 2 pieces. First, okay, all right. Yes, this tape is 2 inches wide, it's about 5 centimeters. And first I'm going to take a piece of tape that is a bit more than twice the height of these covers. So, yeah, better too long than not long enough. And then lay it vertically like this. And then put one of the spine pieces. Make sure you don't accidentally use the one that is smaller. Okay. And lay it as straight as possible, as much as possible in the center of the tape. There. Happy? And then take a little piece of scrap cardboard that is also 1/16 of an inch and make sure it has a straight edge and place it right next to the cardboard spine. And then take your front cover, make sure it's straight and not upside down, and then just slide it along this piece of cardboard. Make sure top and bottom are aligned. There. Now you have a small gap between this piece and that piece, like this. And then do exactly the same on the other side. Make sure the back is straight. Slide against this little piece of cardboard. Make sure the top and bottom are aligned with the spine. Okay, there we go. And we have a neat gap here as well. And then I'm going to, oh, I have more than enough tape, I see. That's okay. Then I'm going to carefully glue this piece down. You can start with the top part as well, it doesn't matter. Carefully so you don't have any bubbles. And then the top part as well. Okay, if this doesn't line up with this edge, that's okay. I'm going to hide this anyway. Cut off the excess if necessary. Yeah, apparently I wasn't really very straight, but that's okay. You're not going to see that. And then make sure the tape really does stick everywhere. And also with your bone folder, go into those gaps that you made. Turn around and do exactly the same on the other side. This way, this is really bendable. And then do exactly the same with this spine piece and the front. All the pieces are attached and this is what the book is going to look like in the end. So this is going to be the front and this is going to be the back. Now the next step is optional, but I want to do that since this is going to be a Steampunk Halloween journal, this particular one with this theme. I'm going to paint these spines. If it's paintable, you can do that as well. This is a quick and easy way to make your tapes fit your journal better. And what I'm going to do is, this is like super sensitive masking tape, but like really super sensitive. This won't hurt it at all. It comes off so easily and this is the stuff that you want. Test this first before adding tape to your beautiful journal, please. Okay. And I'm going to put that tape right next to the tape that holds everything together. Like this. Okay. And I'm going to do that on all the sides. I'm just going to paint the front, not the inside. So only the outside. Okay. And it's actually handy that these extra pieces of tape on top and the bottom keep my project in place on my work surface. Okay, and for this I'm going to use a bronze color. Now keep in mind this paint is going to shrivel this spine up a little bit, but I quite like the effect, so I don't mind because of course there's some water in here. And I think I'm gonna use bronze. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely going to use some bronze. Okay, should have put something underneath there. Okay, what I'm going to do is just squirt some out here and there. Keep it easy. This doesn't really need a long time to dry, so no problem. Yeah, you see it already coming up. That's okay. Yeah, smart people, please put something under here. Just too lazy to go grab a sheet of paper. So now I'm going to let this whole thing dry. I could get these off already, but I think I'm gonna add another layer of Mod Podge on top. So I'm gonna keep these on. I'm very confident that they won't damage the paper at all, and it won't take that long to dry. Okay, the next thing is not necessary, but I'm going to add a small thin layer of Mod Podge on top, just to seal it in a little bit. So I won't be making other stuff dirty should the paint, I don't know, go off a little bit. I don't think it's gonna do anything, but just to be sure, like a thin layer. Okay, that'll dry clear, not white. There, gonna let that dry as well. And I'm actually now already taking these off carefully. And now I'm going to put this aside to dry. So, and while the cover is already drying, I'm going to wrap the inner spine piece, so the one that is 7/8 of an inch, with a piece of kraft paper. Now, this is an old piece of kraft paper from somewhere else, but I keep my scraps because, yeah, now I can just reuse them. Reuse what you already have. And I'm going to wrap this the same way as I did the cover pieces, actually. So, simply, I'm going to add double-sided tape. So, because this is so small, I'm just going to add 2 pieces here, remove them, and add another piece of double-sided tape in the center on top. Now, of course, you can also use glue, as you know. There. So, put it in the center of this piece. Okay. Again, cut the corners the same way you did with the cover pieces. So, some tape on 4 tabs. Okay. And just fold over those tabs. There. gonna start with the small ones first again. Then the longer ones. There, and the actual journal pages will be attached on here. And for that we need to make some markings. And I am going to use the staple method here. I'm going to add 3 signatures here. So I need a bunch of holes and preferably in the right place. Okay, and I want my holes. Yeah, I'm going to put the markings here because I'm gonna punch through here. And then this side will be beautiful and this side will be a bit less beautiful. That's why I'm going to do it here. I'm also going to do it with pencil so I can erase it later. Okay, so I want my markings 1.5 inch from each edge. So that's going to be the first staple hole and the second staple hole will be here. Now, I already know my staples are 1/2 inch precisely, so I can already make the second mark. If you don't know what the size of your staples is, just measure it first. Okay, so I want them on this height. I'm going to lightly make some lines. Okay, then I'm going to measure the center. So the center is here. And I'm also going to measure 3/16 of an inch to each side. So that is here and here. I'm going to do exactly the same here. So this is the center. 3/16 to that side and 3/16 to that side. Now I'm going to, you can connect it, but I'm just going to put some crosses on the other lines so I don't have to erase too much. Okay, so just here, 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 here. Same thing, the last line, here, 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 here. So now we have 12 crosses and I'm going to punch in the center of each of them. So I have an awl and my mat. And just punch. You can use a needle perfectly for this. You don't have to make the holes too large because just a staple has to fit through it. Okay, and now I'm simply going to erase my marks. Because you see on the other side, it's not as beautiful. But that side won't be visible, this side will be. So this is ready already. Let's put this aside. So in the meantime, I think my cover is dry enough to start working with it. I'm very happy that I painted those tapes. They look amazing. Even with these air bubbles, they just add to the texture. Okay, now I'm going to attach a bunch of hardware to this cover. And first I have to measure. Yes, measure again. To make it beautiful, you have to measure. I'm going to attach a ring fastener here on top. So I need a hole for that. And of course I want it in the center. About, yeah. So that was easy. First mark has been done. So this is going to be on top on the outside here. But a lot more tricky is the locks that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use these swivel locks. They're going to go like this. And I'm going to use 2 here. So this part will come on this side and these parts will come on this side. And then this top part will swivel into this hole here. Now, if you don't have these, you can actually use some other type of lock or just simply two brads that you connect with a piece of rope. But I'm going to use these swivel locks here, and they're a bit tricky to add, but if they're in place, it's so nice. So they have to be almost on the edge to work. So like this. So that means I have to put my holes in the exact right place. And for me, that is, for these locks, exactly 1/4 inch from each edge. So I'm already going to make a mark 1/4 inch from the edge. Several places, and I'm gonna draw a line here. That line won't be visible anymore, so it's okay to draw something here. I'm gonna keep a little bit from the top and the bottom though, so you won't see that. So I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side, 1/2 inch from the edge. 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, sorry. And I want the first hole to be 1.5 inch from the top and the bottom. Now, of course, you choose this yourself, but I'm just going to show you how I want to do that. So my first hole should be right here. And also right here. And for the next hole, I'm actually going to use these to mark the right place, because it can be a bit tricky. They can be like a little bit different, and well, we all want it to fit, you know. So this is going to come here. This means line up my hole with that first mark, hold it firmly and make the second mark. There we go. Gonna keep this lock on top, this lock here, so the bottom hole should be the mark that I already made. And here's where the other hole should come. And do the exact same thing on the other side with the other locks, part of the lock. So I know exactly where my hole should be, and I'm gonna keep my locks in the same order at the side of my work table, so I know which one goes where. And then I also want a label holder, but I'm going to see where that's going to go later when my locks are in place. So I give it the best possible place. Okay, let's punch some holes. Here's where the ring fastener comes. It's this little thingy, totally optional, but you can hang some beads or trinkets from this little ring. Okay, and now I'm not worried about this part being ugly, because this is completely going to cover this. The same here. The holes will completely be covered by the brads. Okay, so of course these holes can be a bit larger, so the brad's legs will definitely get through here. Other side. Okay, so to attach these, I'm gonna wait with this one because I want to be able to lay this really flat for these locks. I have these brads here that look like nails. These are from Finnabair. and they have like a lot of the, yeah, when you use them, I need to find a tackle box to put these in, but I don't have one yet. They're you lose them so quickly, but I really love these because the legs are really long, and keep in mind, you see, this is quite a height, you know. Tim Holtz has also really pretty tiny brads, but they're too tiny for this. So I'm not going to use these ones here. I don't know if he has a larger size of brad, but I have the really tiny ones, and there's just no leg left to wrap around the cardboard to keep these in place. Okay, let's attach these. This is going to come here. And then simply open these legs. Open them top to bottom, because otherwise they will stick out your journal, and that can be what you need. Okay, and then the other one. That's a bit of the downside, so I would have loved these crosses to like face this, and this one face that one, and that one turn that one. But the downside is then my legs would not be where I want them. Okay, make these really flat. And when you're done, put a piece of tape over them. Don't come too close to the edge, because a piece of the edge will be left open when we add the inner cover pieces. Now, I like to really get that tape in all the nooks and crannies here. It's okay if the back loosens, just I like to leave it on for now. Okay, and then add the other pieces the exact same way. So I added all 4 pieces of these locks, and they work like this now. There you go. And now I'm going to add the ring fastener and also a label holder. And for the ring fastener, I think this hole isn't big enough yet, so I'm going to make this hole a little bit bigger. This way the legs can go through better. Like this, easy peasy. And I'm also going to add a little bit of double-sided tape on top. I'm gonna leave it like this. So, and then later on I can add some stuff dangling off it. Beautiful. Okay, and I think I want my label holder somewhere here. Yeah, here I want it. I'm going to make some markings in the center here, and I'm going to make sure that these are straight enough. Okay, so I'm gonna punch some more holes. A lot of hole punching today here. Okay. And let's attach this as well, and then most of the hardware is ready, I think. Make these legs super flat, and again add some tape on top to protect the paper that's going on top. We will remove these backings later when we will actually add something on top. Like this. Okay. And now I'm going to start adding the inside covers to the inside. And I'm gonna start with the big one in the center first, because I'm going to do something special to it. I suggest you watch the video first before thinking, oh, I'm going to do that special thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some double-sided tape on the back, all around the edges. Always make sure this tape is actually sticking, of course. Then I'm going to put it aside for a bit because I am going to add an envelope hinging from this. And I have here a piece. This is 1 inch by 7.5 inch. And I'm going to make a fold in the center. So I'm going to fold it in half. Then I'm gonna take some scissors and on one side I'm gonna cut off a corner from the fold a bit in, because this is the part that you won't see. So this is the part that's going to be visible. This is the part that's going to be not visible. But this is the part that's going to come under here. So it's a bit smaller than the length of this inside cover. So make sure you're going to attach it in the center. So before I'm going to do that, I am going to remove this piece. And I'm already going to put this aside, glue this here. Now I'm gonna switch around. I'm gonna put it like this and like this. So this way I can really go in that fold and in the center. Like this. Okay, I'm happy with that. And of course, this isn't going to stick anymore, so I'm going to add some more tape on top here. Like this, and now I can just remove all these backings, add some glue in the center and stick this thing down. Okay. And of course, if you don't want that envelope hinging in there, just leave it out and treat this piece like a regular piece. Okay, now I'm going to put this in the center and make sure that I have an 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeter all around. Very, very straight, etc. You know the drill. Okay. Oh, I wanted to ink these edges and I totally forgot. How could I? Can I do? No. The thing is down, I cannot do anything about it anymore. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so this white piece you won't be seeing later on. This is the piece that you will be seeing. Okay, let's not think about this any longer and let's add the other inside cover pieces. So I have one for here and I have one for here, and guess what I'm doing now? I'm going to ink these edges. So I have some brown here, rich cocoa, but of course you can choose anything you want. I just want a subtle dark edge here, not too large, not too big. Of course, do this according to your own taste. Okay, the other one as well. So, okay, this is way better. Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't do that, but okay, it is what it is. Now the trick with these is to get these edges completely down. And that's why here and here, I'm not going to leave an 1/8 of an inch, but even closer to the side, just so I can really hide these edges, because the paper will come up a bit with these bread legs sticking through. But it's going to be okay, just like I did with the one in the middle. Tape all around and glue in the center. So, and of course, should have done this before, remove these backings now. This tape is already keeping these down, which is great, but a little extra helps never too much. Okay, let's do this like super straight. And I am happy, I think. Okay. Make sure this goes down well. And yeah, make sure you really stick here on these two lock parts. So that's why some extra sticky tape is like super handy here. Okay, and now I'm going to do exactly the same with this one here. So now I'm going to put this aside for now, and I'm going to concentrate on the papers on the inside. So your junk journal project pack normally has 24 papers. Of course, you can use regular papers and a few of these. I went all for it and I printed these double-sided, on 24 pages. You need 24 pages or at least a number that you can divide by 3. So I'm going to make 3 piles of 8 papers each. Make sure everything's straight, and then when you have your pile of 8 papers, I wouldn't recommend using more, by the way. Just neatly fold them in half, the whole stack. Like this. And do that with all 3 of your piles. Of course, choose the order of your pages wisely. So, and the next step is optional, but I'm going to do it, is to make this straight, because not all the papers are very, very straight. You can do that, like I've shown in a lot of videos, with a metallic ruler. You put a cutting mat underneath, and then you take a cutting knife and you just keep sliding until all these pieces fall off. So let me show you. Make sure your knife is very sharp. Take a metal ruler, align it for where you want it to be, and then just keep sliding your pages softly, just so firm grip here, soft touch here. Just keep sliding the papers over and over again until they all fall off. Just make sure, have patience here. So I actually have a big fat guillotine trimmer that's going to take care of it in like 1 second. But not everyone has that, so I'm showing you here how it's done. Of course, a piece of the paper will fall off. That's something that you need to take into consideration, of course. So, nice straight edge now. So now I have 3 piles of paper folded in half with a straight edge. And now it is time to cut holes in them. I'm going to use this as a template for that. So let me show you with one. Open it up. Make sure you can see the actual folding line. Take a needle or an awl or anything that can punch holes. And then position this in the center. Of course, this is longer than your pages, but it should be fine. And then make sure to line up these holes. Now, if you're not sure if they're straight, just use a ruler or something straight to see where you have to punch your holes, and do that with all 3 signatures. Actually, I'm going to do it like this, because the other way around, you see the holes are having ugly marks. So what I'm going with, you know what I'm going to do in the center? I'm just going to flip this page over and you won't see the nasty holes. But from now on, I'm actually going to put my holes in the center like this. Then I don't have to do that. Okay. Now this is only for staples, so you don't need to make the holes as big. So, and the next thing to do is to staple these to the inner spine. Of course, I'm not going to do that with a stapler. I'm going to do that by hand. I'm gonna put my mat underneath. And I have some staples. Now these are not enough, but I have some more. And use something fine to get these apart. I wouldn't use a knife, but yeah, something like this usually works great. Okay, and then put a staple from the inside out through the holes. So, and then staple it to the nice side of this inner spine. So not on this part. This part is going to go inside the cover. So, and then choose where you want these pages to go. Do you want them on the back? Do you want them in the front, etc.? So be mindful of that. There. And when the legs are through, use something metally to close these legs. Close it firm. Do the same on top or on the other sides from the inside out. It would be nice for this team to have like bronze, brassy staples, but I'm just going to do it with the regular kind, yeah. And do this, oh yeah. And then, before attaching the rest, close it, make sure the spine is flat, and fold all the pages to that side, and then fold all the pages to the other side. So this way they will move easier later on. And then just same way, insert the other signatures. So all the 3 signatures are stapled in this inner spine piece, and now it is time to glue this inner spine into our book. And for that, I of course really want this to stick, so I'm going to use my double-sided tape. It's really good sticking, but I'm also going to add some sturdy glue as well. So some tape here. Oops. Some tape here, and I'm going to remove them and add some tape on top. But first, I'm going to make sure this tape is really sticking. So I'm gonna remove this tape as well. We're gonna remove this piece as well. There. Make sure it's sticking down. All right. And then I'm going to add some glue here. Yes, I always use fabric tack now if I have a need for a good sticking glue. And I'm just going to directly put it on here. Oops. Okay. If you make a mistake and your glue is seeping out, or if your glue is in the wrong places, just clean it up quickly with some paper scraps. Okay. Frankly, just don't put your glue in the wrong places. It's the best advice I can give you. Yeah, my glue isn't coming out very well. You have to maintain your tools and your stuff. That's a fair amount of glue, and I put some glue in the wrong place again, so let me clean this up quickly. Okay, and then make sure you have this straight. Put it in the center. And when you're sure, push it down. There. Now, to really keep this down, open up completely in the center. So in the center of the middle signature, grab some heavy books. So Lord of the Rings is always helping me out here. It's nice and heavy. I think I'm going to add some Harry Potter on top. Yeah, and I'm going to let this dry. So, this is kind of dry now. Yeah, it's dry enough. I won't hurt it at all. And now for the rest, I'm going to add a bunch of pockets to this journal. If you don't want that, or if you have other types of pockets in your mind, please go ahead. I'm just going to show you how I do this. For these pockets, just go and look into your junk journal project pack and select some papers that you like. You can use the vertical papers that are in the kit. You can use pieces of the embellishments perhaps. You can even use pieces of these journal pages if you like. If you say, oh, I want to make a pocket out of this piece, just print it. But don't print it on thin paper, print it on heavy paper. Like I'm going to use 160 grams paper because that's what I always have in the house. Let me show you how to make this, and I'm first going to show you how to make the envelope that goes onto this hinge. And for this you need a piece of the paper. I use this piece of paper, double-sided. You can use existing scrapbook paper as well, of course. I printed this on the back. This is going to be the inside, this is going to be the outside. And this is a piece that is 9 inch by 7.5. And let me put this aside for a while. I'm going to put it like this. This is going to be the top flap of the envelope. And I'm going to score it at 3 inch and 7 inch. Like this. Oops. Oh, that was the wrong one. 7 inch like this. Okay. When you encounter something like this, so I was scoring in the wrong line. Just turn it over and just gently rub over the wrong scoring line. And most of the time you can completely make it invisible. You won't see it anymore. Okay, and then fold the lines inside. This one as well. Make sure you use the right one. If you made a mistake like I did. Okay, like this. I am going to make this a simple envelope, so I'm going to close it with some tape here on the inside. I'm not going to make any tabs. You can make tabs, you can add an accordion thingy here if you like. But I'm going to do it like this. And for the closure, I'm going to add an eyelet here in the center. So let me search for the center here. It's 3 3/4 and about here, yeah. About here. The height doesn't really matter. And now for the eyelets, I am going to Yeah, you can add like these small eyelets, but I bought these wide ones, and I think I'm gonna go with, let me check the color of the brass here. Yeah, gonna go with this one. So to set eyelets, you can use these type of tools, but I don't think they work very well with thicker paper. So this is used to make the hole, and then you can knock with a hammer on top, and then it makes a hole in the right size, and then you can use an eyelet through it and hammer again like this. You can also use the tool that's used to normally make these thingies into, yes, a lot of things are thingies today, I'm very sorry, in belts, etc. So they have these tools as well, but I'm just going to use the big bite here. First I'm gonna make a hole right in place. There we go. Then this fits through it like this. And then I'm gonna switch it, make sure that my settings are right. They are, and then I'm just going to do it like this. And there. So, and later on I'm going to attach a string here, but to attach this, I want a brad with a circle here. So, okay, I'm going to punch out some circles, and I think I'm gonna use a leftover piece. Yeah, this blue is nice and contrasty. So I'm gonna, yeah, punch 3 of those. This is a diameter of 5/8 of an inch, and I am simply going to glue these all together. But before I do that, I'm going to ink the edges separately, because if you do it at once, it's not always as nicely done, you know. Don't have to do this at all. There are like brads that are this size, so you can use that instead of making these with the leftover pieces of paper or cardboard. I'm not using cardboard because my hole punch, my circle punch isn't just strong enough. So, and now I'm going to glue these on top of each other. And which one do I want on top? Yeah, definitely this one. So some glue. Another one as well. You can add more layers if you like. This is pretty okay enough for me. So yeah, with the glue, that's why I pre-inked these 3 pieces. With the glue, the ink doesn't always stick anymore on these places, and these edges will stay white. So, and now I'm gonna punch a big hole right in the center. This. And of course I need to know where I want my circle to be. I think I want it here. Now I'm just going to check if that's actually in the center. That is actually very much in the center, so that's great. I'm going to punch a hole there as well. And I need a brad to attach this. Just going to use a small bronze one. Okay, and now to attach this, I made some kind of thingy with some cardboard. It's just 1mm cardboard, and I cut out this little piece. So what I can do now is slide this in, slide this through here, and now there will remain some space for the string. So I'm gonna turn this around, and now I can just simply open these legs. Yes, these brads are rather strong. Okay, and now I get this out, and we have still some space in between. Do you see that? And now for the inside, to protect whatever I'm putting in there, you can punch a larger circle and glue it on there. I'm just simply going to use a bit of washi tape. Yes, this is anything but Halloweeny and steampunky, but you won't see it at all, so I'm just going to use it like this. It's not visible in here. So, and now I'm going to put some thin double-sided tape from this fold up to the edge on both sides. And this is the thinnest I have. I think it is 6mm or 1/4 inch. So yeah, right up to the edge. As I said, you can add tabs here, or you can add a harmonica inside. I've done it in other videos as well, but this one I'm going to keep it quite simple because there's a lot going on here already. Okay, then. Oh, the contrast between that tape and the rest couldn't be greater. But it's invisible. Okay, close it. Ooh, I almost again forgot to ink the whole thing. Maybe some of you are already thinking, ink it, ink it. And I'm going to do something else as well. I'm going to round these corners. So I'm going to round these corners quickly. This one. Just the two top ones, like this. And then just go on inking. You can do this before, of course, as well. Now, most of this envelope will be visible. The only thing that won't be visible is this piece. The rest will all be visible. So make sure if you ink stuff, you ink enough. So even this side on the bottom. And on the inside as well, of course, except on the bottom here. And this piece on the inside is a bit darker, so I'm gonna be bolder with my ink here. So, now I'm going to add some string to close it. So, and as usual, you know I like embroidery thread. As a reference, I am going to use, 12-inch approximately. You do you, but I hope my measurements can help. So from the outside in, so I folded this in half. You can attach this in numerous ways, of course, but I folded it in half, and this loop is going outside in. Through the hole. And then like this. And then you can wrap it around. This is a bit too long. I'm going to cut this off. There, and this envelope can close. And we will attach it, or I will attach it. I have no idea what you are going to do. I'm going to attach it here. So, and then it'll hinge like this. Now for that, first thing I want to do is ink this top edge. And then I'm going to add some double-sided tape to all of this tab. Now this tab is 1/2 inch wide, and I'm just simply going to add 2 layers or 2 rows of this 1/4 of an inch wide tape. I could have made this a bit smaller, of course. This. And then line up this edge, top and bottom, with this tab. And I like to position this envelope right next to the fold, not on the fold, because otherwise later on it can be a bit difficult to actually fold this envelope. So lay it flat like this and then just simply fold over. There. And now you have a hingeable envelope. Now I see with opening this, I put it a bit too far away, but I'm going to solve that later on. Not now yet. I promise I will solve this. So this is in place. So now I want to make two pockets that go on the inside of this envelope on the back side. And I have two pieces of paper here. You can say, hey, why is that white? Well, this is a piece of the embellishments from this kit, and I just want to show you that you can use these as well. This is a piece of the paper, of course, and these pieces are 4 1/4 by 3 3/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to make a tab here, here, and here, a notch here, and then we have a pocket. And I'm going, with both of them, make 3/8 of an inch mark here on the sides and the bottom. Gonna do that with all 3 of these. Because my tape is 3/8 of an inch. That's why I'm doing this. If your tape is wider or smaller, you can always adjust these measurements, of course. Before I'm going to fold these, I'm going to cut these a bit smaller. So gonna cut the diagonal corner to the corner, and here as well. Here as well, here as well, and on the top sides as well, so that you don't really see these tabs as much. Again, here I'm just folding it over because I think you can see the lines from the back better here with the shadow. Okay, just cut some corners. There. Now you can fold these over. These are really simple pockets. And see these white lines, you can calculate them in the space that you need for the tab, because you won't see them. As long as you have a little bit of ink on the edge, that's just great. I'm also going to make some notches here. I can use a regular one to have a half circle shaped one, but I'm just going to use the one from this envelope notch punch thingy. Yeah. Gonna quickly measure the center, because most of the time I don't want to, and then I punch wrong, and I don't want to do that. So okay. Center like this. I'm going to use this later on as well. Let's not forget the ink. Now, to ink these pockets, of course, you ink the top and the notch. But for the sides, fold these, because these you're not going to see. There. And now I'm going to add some tape on these 6 tabs. So don't forget, you have to put these on the colored, on the printed side of the tabs, because if you put them here, you will glue them to this back side. Okay, then remove the backing. A tip, if you didn't measure well, or your tape is in the wrong place and you have a little bit like left over, I don't think I have here, but I want to show you, just pull it back. You can simply pull it back and glue it onto itself. so that you don't have any tape where you don't want it. So here I have it. Here it's too wide. I don't know if you can see it. But I'm just simply going to pull this back. And then the tape will stick to its own. It won't be in the way at all. Okay. And now, get this. If you want, you can measure this, of course. I always like to fold in the bottom one and then already glue down these side ones. And then it's easier to attach these. Okay. Like this. As I said, if you like, of course, measure this. So, and with inking these edges, these pockets will stand out better. I'm gonna do that with the other one as well. And now I have two beautiful pockets on the back of this envelope. So lots of room to put things. And now on the bottom here, I want to add two more pockets. And these are actually very simple pockets. One is going to come here on top and one is going to come here on top. And first, so I just chose some other papers from this kit. First, I'm going to make some notches, the same ones in the center here. So I'm gonna measure center again on both. And I'm simply going to punch these out. Like this. And I'm also going to ink the edges. I'm not going to attach any tabs here as well. You can do that, but then of course you need more paper. And very simply, first a small one. I'm going to use my narrow tape again, the tape that is 1/4 inch wide. And against the edge, on the back, on both sides. Both on all three sides, of course. The bottom as well. I'm gonna do that here as well. First, I'm going to remove the tape of the smallest one. And I'm going to glue it on the front of the larger one. And I'm going to line this completely up like this. There we go. Then I'm going to remove these. Yep. Open this up, and then I'm going to glue these, and I'm gonna leave, 1/8 inch all around on the sides and the bottom. And there, two more pockets hidden. So now we have our envelope with back pockets, more pockets here. The last thing I'm going to show you is to make some kind of a pocket here with two slots. It's very easy. I have this piece of paper that you can print from anything from the junk journal project pack that you currently have. This one is 3 by 5 inch. And on the back, I am going to measure from the bottom. Of course, you can choose this yourself. This is just a guideline. I'm going to measure 2 inch from the bottom and again 2 inch from the bottom. I'm gonna do that on two sides. And then I'm gonna connect them. You know, You won't see any of this, so it's okay if you make some marks here. You don't have to erase them. So I got 2 lines, 2 inch from the bottom and again 2 inch higher. And then I'm going to make a mark from the side, from each side, 3/8 of an inch. Yeah. Top and bottom again. That's just because I want to use a 1/4 of an inch tape here, and then we have some room left. You will see later, then you have room enough to put actually things in the slots. I'm gonna connect these as well. You can adjust this to your tape easily. So, and now here is where I'm going to cut some slots. I am going to use a hole punch. This is an 1/8 of an inch hole punch. You can use a smaller one, you can use a bigger one, or you can just not use this hole punch but cut a straight line here. But I am going to position my hole, let me show you, here. So it will touch the bottom, it will touch on the bottom with this line and on the side with this line. And I'm going to do that inside on all 4 places. You see? This way I am sure my slots are going to be straight. There we go. Then I'm going to use my ruler and an X-Acto knife to connect the top of these circles with each other and the bottom also. There. And this will look like this. Show you. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the bottom part. So now we have this result, and I'm going to ink the edges first. So it'll stand out more on the background. Even going to try softly to ink these edges as well by bending this just a little bit. You can hardly see it, but it stands out way more than this one, you see? See the difference? Of course, don't actually bend it. Don't actually fold it. Just bend it like this. Now, this is supposed to come here. And I'm simply going to put some double-sided tape, the small one, a 1/4 of an inch wide one, a 6 millimeter, all around the edges. Very easy. And you see the tape is a bit further than the sides of these slots. So when we, in the future, I'm gonna put something in there, it's not going to immediately touch or get stuck in that tape. Remove the backings. I try to keep 1/8 of an inch, like 3 millimeter, on the bottom and the sides. There we go. So, and I said I was going to tackle this white line here because I put this envelope a little bit too much on that side. And I just used my really paper-friendly, sensitive masking tape again. And I'm just going to fill this up with some ink. You can fill it up with some paint as well, and it's going to become darker. So this is a way to tackle that. It will be beautiful, and this way you can solve like a lot of minor problems. Okay, the next time I find this tape, I totally forgot where I got it. I'm gonna buy like 5,000 of these. Okay, maybe 10. good as I thought it would be. But it took away a little bit here. I guess I should have been a bit more careful, but I just, yeah, added a little bit of ink. This solved all your problems, guys. Ink. Okay, so, but this white line is gone. It's camouflaged. And in essence, the journal is ready to be embellished further, added some more embellishments and pockets, and ready to be filled actually. So here you go. And you can do so much more to this Steampunk Halloween junk journal. So for example, what I did was I attached with some jump rings and some chain, I attached 2 of these gears here. And I'm not sure yet what label I'm going to put inside. And these super beautiful tags or labels here. If you make sure you print them a little bit smaller or you cut them so they are 2 inches wide, they will fit perfectly in here. As long as they are 2 inches wide, everything that's 2 inches wide can fit in here. So yeah. And if you like, of course, you can ink these edges as well. You can do that with all the embellishments. There are pockets in the embellishments, a lot of cards that you can use as extras in your journal pages. You can make extra flip outs from the cards, etc. We do this one as well. Creatively, you're only limited by yourself. So the sky is the limit, guys. If I add a little bit of ink on the edges, it completely changes it. It looks a lot different and it fits the rest of the aesthetic here. And in the embellishments, you can also find these 3 cards. Let me put this aside for a bit. These 3 cards. And most of the edges are straight, so I cut them with scissors, but there are also some edges that are kind of torn, and I'm just gonna tear those pieces. You don't have to be super exact, and you can even make more tears than there are in this picture. So for example, here's like a big burn mark. Just going to tear that by hand to make it more realistic. It goes up again. And yes, ink makes especially the burn mark a lot more realistic. You can put them in here, or you can put them in here, have them stick out. I mean, and this way you can fill your whole journal. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you're inspired to make your own beautiful journal. If you want to discover this Steampunk Halloween junk journal project pack in our shop, the link is in the description. I wish you a truly beautiful day. Bye-bye.